There are times where we'll just go get ice cream and sit in the parking lot. Or we will get dressed up and go to dinner, or we'll just go to the movie. Sometimes there have been many times we wait until everybody go to bed and then we'll just go out. Like
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our show, Dating and Marriage Perspectives. This is Karina and Amber. What I kind of am coming up with, I'm going to try it out today. Camberina. You know, we're trying to do the Ben Affleck, Jennifer, Brad Pitt, Jolie, whatever, Angela Jolie. I think we could probably get away with Camberina.
Well, one of those couples didn't make it, so
I was gonna say that, but
see,
you and I are attached to the hip.
True.
To the vagina, to everything else.
Unless you got 12 inches.
I love it. Okay, anyway, so yeah, welcome back to our show, our viewers, our listeners. Thank you for joining us today. We're so excited to have you with us, and we're excited to be with you. Before we jump into our show, be sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our show. Look, Amber, I didn't forget. Yay! We have a guest today, and we love that we're expanding our perspective on our show. Today we have Nikki. Please welcome Nikki, aka Act Funny Girl Productions. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Today we're talking about dating your husband. And I also want to share that Nikki has 5 boys.
Yes.
A new grandmother.
Yep.
Married. She's a and then everything else that happens in between, family, work, and everything else. So I think it's really important for us to talk about dating your husband, even though you're married and you have children and you have projects and, life goes on. And I also want to tie that into a previous conversation we had with another guest of ours. I am D. Simone. You can find her on Instagram as well, where she talked about dating yourself as a single woman. So flipping the script just a little bit, dating yourself and dating your husband while in a relationship. So I'm going to turn it over to Amber and go from there.
Yeah, Nikki, thank you so much for coming on because, as the struggle is real, right? Like
married or single.
True. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your husband, and we can kind of jump in some questions about how do you date your husband? Do you think it's important? But let's start with kind of backtrack us, tell us about.
Okay, so not a lot of people know this. I met my husband on Match.com.
Oh, hey.
I love it.
Yes.
And it was kind of like, honestly, it was kind of like a joke. I went to a baby shower for a friend a few years ago. Wow, that baby is like 8 now. But anyway, I went there, and then another friend of mine had just got married, and I love her. Her name is Karen, and she had this circus theme wedding, and it was like perfect for her. And I was just like talking about her wedding theme, and I was like, "Well, how did you meet your fiance?" And she was like, "Oh, I met him on Match.com." And I was like, "Really?" Because you sometimes you get that stigma of people who have to go that route aren't the best, or you just. And I was just like, "You on why would you do that?" And so she was like, "I was just tired and just looking," and like, "You should do it." I was like, I'm not doing that. And she was like, "No, seriously, you should do it." And so she was like, "Try it out for a month." And so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna do it," because you get the month for free. So I was like,
that's true.
Because after a month, you're not getting not a penny out of me.
Right.
So I live in the southernest part of Maryland. So when I signed up, I put my zip code in, and the zip code let's put it like this, all the men that I got attached to, or, were liking me or were in my sphere were like named Zeke and Cooter.
Oh no, you
So
are out
I
in
was
the
just
cut.
like, yeah, they're out here. And so I was just like, yeah, this is not working for me. So someone was like, well, change your zip code. You don't have to. So I put in the DC zip code, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is a little bit better.
Okay.
This is what I can work with. And so I'm scrolling and scrolling, and there's some creeps on there. I'm not gonna lie. You just be like, ugh. Like one guy was like, during the chat, he was like, where do you live? I could come meet you at your door. No, thank you. So delete.
No.
But then I saw this picture of this guy, and he was at the merry-go-round with his son. And I was like, oh, he's cute too. And so I kind of passed, and I kept
The
coming back.
son or your husband?
My husband.
Okay.
So my youngest son is not actually my son. He's my
Okay.
stepson, but don't ever say that to him,
Well,
because yeah. So, I kept coming back to that picture, and I was just like, yo, he's really cute. So I was the aggressor. I reached out to him, and he replied back, but he's so funny because that's when the whole catfish thing was coming out. And so every
Yes.
time we would
It's
chat,
still happening.
yes, and I still can't believe that it's still happening, but whatever. But every time he would say, send me a picture of what you're doing right now. And I'm thinking, is he a stalker? Like, because I knew nothing about catfish. I was like, well, I'm not really presentable. Like, we're chatting. And he's, no, send me a picture right now. So I was like, okay. So,
Checking.
right. And so we met up, and the rest is history. This is my second marriage too, by the way.
Okay.
Did you meet your first husband via online or?
No, so listen, lean in.
Hold on. Let me get my wig out my ear.
It was the pastor's brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
We'll leave it there
Okay.
for another day.
Another show.
That's another
Yeah,
show.
another show.
All right.
So no, but his name is Tier. So Tier and I, we met and we started dating. We both knew that we wanted to have we wanted to get married. We talked about that early in the relationship, because he was like, I don't want to just be casually dating, because we're older. I'm 48, he's 50. So, we've been together 6 years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's lovely.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I love it.
How long was your courtship?
Oh, maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Amber.
Yep. Yeah. You and me will never part. Okay.
Once they get on our nerves, then we could just,
That's true. So has dating changed from, pre-marriage to now? And I know the answer in my opinion, but for you, has it changed?
I think it has to change, because we're not the people that we were then. And I do think that you need to date your husband. I don't think it's always easier now, because now you have to find time. Because like I said, I got 5 boys, 2 of them play sports, 1 is married and has a grandson, and then 1 we're yet praying for. But we have to find that time for each other. So
how do you date your husband? What do you guys do?
Well, like I said, because we have so many kids, we have to be, strategic. There are times where we'll just go get ice cream and sit in the parking lot. Or we will get dressed up and go to dinner, or we'll just go to the movie. Sometimes there have been many times where we wait until everybody go to bed, and then we'll just go out. And the other thing with my marriage is my husband works at night. He works security is all I can say. So, he works at night. So that is and during the weekend. So that is
yeah.
So when we can, but it can be, like I said, something as simple as just going to get some ice cream, sitting in a parking lot and talking.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. So I think that's really important, because you're 2 different people, you have different schedules, and you say strategic. So how do you come to an agreement on when to have a date? Because he's working at night and on the weekends. That's people typically associate going out and doing things on the weekends, but you can also do that on the weekdays. I mean, if you can, you could do it like right before work. So how do you and your husband figure out when to go out, when to spend time together?
So his off days are Sunday because he works at night. So basically, he's home Sunday night, Monday night. He goes to work Tuesday night. So Monday, Sunday night, and Monday, all day Monday are like our time. And I chose to. I work at a church, so I work from home Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
So that kind of helps us out during the day when he's not sleeping or has anything to do. Or I don't, because I try to get all my doctor's appointments or the kids' doctor's appointments on those days. Um, Sometimes we just have to break the rule. He'll call out or just you just gotta work the system for yourself. So, he'll call out or he'll take off.
Right.
And as far as us agreeing as to what to do, now that can be an issue sometimes as well, because he's used to being up all night and he'll be like, it's 9:30 and he's like, you want to go out? And I'm like, I'm bonnet on, bra off. Like
Right.
I'm not going anywhere. And he's just like, but I think in that it's like a sacrifice. Like if I'm like, okay, just let me get myself together. Like just, I can get dressed again just to, spend some time, or he'll do something I don't want to do. Like, or he'll do something I want to do, and he'll just be like, okay.
Yeah.
But the key in that is, for us, you have to genuinely want to do it, because
Yeah.
he loves ice cream. He loves going to this ice cream parlor that I'm not an ice cream person, but and so there was one instance that like I was standing in line and I truly didn't want to be there because one, I wanted like ribs. And so I'm like, irritated because I don't want ice cream. He wants, and so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But I wasn't doing it in my heart. I was just doing it because I was just like, let's just decide. And so he was like, well, what do you want? And I said, nothing. And I was like, and then I'm gonna wait in the car while you get your stuff because we could eat it in the car. And that turned out to be something more than what I thought it would be because of the attitude I had behind it. Because he was just like, if you're not gonna be here, then don't be here.
He needs you present.
Yeah. And so in my mind, it was we're just going for ice cream. But for him, it was, no, this is
Yeah.
our time together. If you're not going to be here, then don't be here. So, that's how you learn.
Yeah, that's interesting because my husband and I are kind of similar to that. Like I'm more of a night owl and my love language is spending time,
Yeah.
quality time, and his is like affirmation. So I can just tell him something nice and he'd be on his way. Whereas, okay, at 9:30, I want you and I to be watching something together so that, we have that time together to kind of unwind. So that's interesting.
That's big for us too. There are a couple of shows that we watch together and we just like, and he's just like, or I'm like, don't watch ahead. Like if we can't watch it
yeah.
when it premieres or when it comes on, do not
Yes.
watch it, because that's another
Good
date
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Especially on a Sunday night. Like, there's some shows that come on and we're like, okay, we might not be able to watch it live, but thanks to, on demand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we still get that time.
Yeah. What would you say to, some married couples? Because you're a good example of, somebody who makes the time. But what would you say to those couples who say, we don't have time to date?
First of all, thank you for saying I'm a good example.
Yes.
I don't hear that often.
Yeah.
Ask my pastor and therapist. You have, it's all of what you want. You have to make the time. If you want to better your relationship and if you want to be there for each other, like I'm truly learning, like I said, we're 6 years in and I'm just now truly learning about selflessness and not being selfish.
Oh.
Like and
Yeah.
I'm at the point now, I'm just like, I gotta pick and choose my battles. I'm like, is it really, when like we thought we didn't have time today either, but if you set it like as a priority, like we need this, because if we don't get this, then he's irritable and then I'm irritable, and then we have the whole dynamic of the kids, work, other family members and stuff like that. So you have to, like I said, even if it's just watching a movie together, pop some popcorn, sit on the couch.
Yeah.
That's 2 hours. But I'm truly learning it's the selflessness that will make it work. I didn't say it was easy.
Right. Was there a point that you decided it was necessary? Like,
yeah, because people always say those first couple of years are hard because you're still getting, even though you've dated, and we didn't date for a long time, but we were getting to know each other, and there were some things that I learned about him. I'm like, ooh, like he needs a lot of attention. Not saying that in a bad way, but his love language is like you. He needs affirmation. He loves the spending quality time. I'm the exact opposite. I can be by myself. I don't have a lot of conversation. I don't argue. Like I don't go back and forth.
oh,
I'll tell you what, I'm like, this is what I said, this is what I meant, that's the end of it. Why are you still talking to me? But he's the exact opposite.
I said what I said.
Right, and don't keep talking. But he's the exact opposite, where this is how I feel, and this is why I feel that way, and this is why I feel that you should feel this way. And I'm in my mind like, he is still talking. Why is he still talking to me? And
understand your husband. I'm a little bit like that.
in my mind, I'm like exploding inside. And so to him, that reads, okay, not cold, but she's just, I'm like, let the thing be the thing, okay?
Yeah.
Keep it on topic and be done. So we are, I don't say we had to learn, we are learning because it's still a learning process. So, he is learning, okay, be succinct. Don't keep saying all the same words. And I am learning to, okay, open up more because he needs to fully understand what you're saying. And then I've learned that we have to understand each other's filters. Because like the way I grew up and the way he grew up were two different things. And so my parents were very strict and church going, like every service. If the church doors were open, we was in there. And so I got to a point where anybody gonna tell me what to do.
Right.
He didn't grow up in church at all, and he grew up with a single mom. So so there's those dynamics. And to him, he's just he thinks he's just saying something. Like honestly, when I first got married, and I would be like, all right, I'll be right back. And he'd be like, where are you going? Oh, I'm going? Like that was an issue for me. Oh, like, did you just ask me? He just asked me where I was going. I am grown.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So you just got to talk about it. You got to and be honest. Like that was another thing. I wasn't honest because I would say only what he wanted to hear because one, I didn't want to have a conversation, but it could talk about it. And then two, I just wanted to, but you got to be honest on where you are. And so making time for those date nights, that's why it's important because you got to learn truly who you are as far as yourself and who you are to each other.
Yeah.
What would you say? Because I know you guys go for ice cream, which I love ice cream. What would you say is the most memorable date that you've been on?
The first date we went on, it was memorable because we met at the harbor here in Maryland. And so there's an outlet and then there's a harbor. So we met at a store in the outlet. So I'm sitting on the bench waiting for him to come. And you see pictures and I'm like, Lord, please let the pictures be correct. And it's not like the catfish.
Right about it.
Right. So out the corner of my eye, I see someone creeping, but they're like creeping up. So he called my name and I turned around. I was like, woo, he is fine. Thank you, Jesus.
Nice.
So there's a Ferris wheel at the harbor. And I am afraid of heights and closed. I don't do closed in spaces, but I got on that Ferris wheel that day.
Oh,
he was fine. He was like, you want to get on a Ferris wheel? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yes. And then when he leaned in to kiss me any other time, because we're closed in at the top of the Ferris.
Yeah.
Listen.
She had mouth full open, ready to go.
My sister, I told my sister, she was like, I thought you were afraid of heights. I was like, my ears are ringing. I heard angels. I don't.
Oh, oh, I love it.
So yeah, that was like the most memorable, our first date. We still talk about that.
Do you guys ever recreate it? Try and recreate it
We
at all?
thought about it. We thought about it. The
Yeah.
kids will follow us though.
What about the most like memorable or fun husband and wife date? Like
The when
dating
we
your husband, like what's the most memorable, most fun date you all? I earlier you mentioned that, you gotta work the system, like calling sick, play hooky and you do
when
something.
Tierra and I, we have a group of friends and we all travel. We all take a trip together once
Oh.
a year. It's 4 couples, so it's 8 of us. And so we went to Aruba. And this was the first trip that Tierra and I went on with the group. And so each night, there was one night where each couple did their own thing. And so Tierra and I, we just hung out and walked and talked and, it was just quiet and peaceful. Aruba is windy and that sand kicks up and hits you.
Ooh.
But I didn't even care because
Especially your hair.
listen, my hair was a lot bigger, not longer, bigger, then. So it was just a very fun date. We just to walk and talk and laugh without having to think, okay, did everybody take a bath, brush your teeth, what we gotta do tomorrow? It was just, peaceful. And we could walk and talk and have a good time. So I think that was the funnest one.
Do you ever do you miss the kids when you guys are out on dates? That's cool. Oh, really?
Did you say no?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Did you at one point, now I don't know how old your kids are, but did you at one point like miss your kids when you go on a date with your husband or you leave town with your husband?
No. You know why? Because they call you and text you. They don't give you a chance to miss them. At least my
Oh.
kids. So my kids currently, my oldest is 24. I have 18, 17, 15, and 10.
Okay.
So no, and they are all spoiled. They will
Oh.
text. Well, where are you got? Like I have my location on. Well, why are you at the ice cream parlor? Are you bringing us anything back? No, we're not. Then they'll call. How come? No, I don't miss them at all. No.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so
miss you. They miss
nice.
But no, I don't miss them.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
I said I love them, but no, I don't miss them. I'm just
See,
like
they're
Michael
missing
Jackson.
you.
They're not missing me. They want me to bring them something back. That's what that is.
Oh. Well, it's important. At least you're showing them, that mommy and daddy need to go out and have their own time and recoup and
Right.
fall back in love. And not that anybody's falling out of love, but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah, sometimes if
Reconnect.
sometimes
Reconnect.
like
That was a better word.
Nikki, what advice do you have, Amber included, for those who don't want to vacation too far from their kids or their kids kind of determine how far are they going to go with it? Like, what advice do you tell parents out there?
She's trying to clown on me.
It's too far from my children.
Like how old are they though? Like my kids are older.
See, mine are 9 and 7.
See, that's different. I understand.
Thank
that. I
you.
remember at one time, Tierra and I, we weren't together when they were that young. But I do remember, and if when I there because my four are from my previous marriage, and so I do remember like we went on vacation and I was the same way. I was like, well, no, because who's going to watch my kids? Nobody is worthy enough to watch my kids. And I didn't, so I get that. I went to Florida one time for a women's conference and the flight was delayed and I acted like an absolute fool because I was just like, no, because the plane is supposed to land at 5. I need to be home by 6:45 because the sitter is leaving at 7:30. Like, and people were like, it's, and it wasn't, I didn't care about the sitter. I wanted to be with my kids. So I get that.
Yeah.
But you gotta make that time.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're going away on a girls' trip next week. And already my kids, I've had to try to, warm them up and saying, okay, mommy's gonna go away. And there they said, it's your birthday. We're not gonna celebrate your birthday. And I was like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Little video.
Right. No, my kids now, like when we went to Aruba or we went to Mexico, my kids were like, see, you make all these plans with you and your husband, but you don't even think about us. We would like to go somewhere. And I'm like, okay, we can go somewhere. But then they're like, well, we don't want to hang with y'all. No, I'm not taking you out of the country and then letting you go wild. No, that's not happening. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it depends on the age and it depends on your children, but you should always take time for yourself. Go on a trip. Those kids will be fine.
I know.
They take, like Amber and her husband, they spend time. They go out, they have a lot of things in common. It's the distance that determines
it is.
Or their kids determine how far they will go.
You'll get over that in a couple of years, believe me.
Okay. Yeah, I will in a couple of years. And when they're like 10 or 11 and 14 and they're talking back, sure, yeah. I'm out of here.
You will be looking for somewhere to go.
I'm gonna send them to you, Nikki.
Oh. And that's another thing. When people see you have a lot of kids, they always think, "Oh, we should have a play date." No, we don't.
Yeah,
no. It's 5 of them. They got somebody to play with. We don't need anybody else over here. We don't at all. We are
especially with COVID now.
Yeah, no, don't bring them over here.
And they're old enough. At least you always have a babysitter, which is really nice.
You would think.
Wait, they don't help you out that way?
And let me tell you this, there have been many times when me and my husband have gotten dressed to go out just to think, because the youngest is 10 now, and I figure like 15-year-old or the 17-year-old will be home, and we are walking out the door and the 10-year-old will be like, so where y'all going? I'm like, anybody here? Everybody left?
Oh no.
Oh, come on, get in the car. Or yeah,
tagging along.
Yeah,
you got to catch these kids. They're quick, all they know is Cash App or Uber.
Yeah, that's true.
All they know, Cash App or Uber. They be gone in a minute.
Oh, that's so funny. That's great. That's great. Well, I love it, Nikki. Thanks so much. You've been really helpful. And
thanks. Thank you.
Do me a favor. Tell everybody, what you also do, behind besides just your regular job, but let them know where they can find you and what you do, so we can make sure that we can get you some followers. And
yes. So I'm also a stand-up comedian. I was Magooby's in Baltimore, Maryland, Magooby's comedian of the year for 2020. What year are we in?
I don't know.
2021. And so you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Funny Girl Productions.
Funny Girl Productions.
And then you can go to my website, funnygirlproductions.com. You can follow me on YouTube at Funny Girl Productions. Everything is Funny Girl Productions. So, and I've started, which launched November 1st, today, my very own web series called Hot Mess with Nikki Knowles, because as you can probably see, whole hot mess.
Well, we can only see.
What's the show about, Nikki?
The show is about my life. I took a page from Mary J. And so it's about me being a mom, a comedian, a woman, just life. I just did my first episode launched. It was with another comedian. I did another episode that will launch in another 2 weeks about fall fashion and body shapes.
Ooh.
At the time, I thought it was a good idea until I actually went out with the stylist and tried on different clothes. And you think you look a certain way,
yeah,
until someone comes with you and starts talking about body type, and you're just like, I hate everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a cake.
Yeah. And ice cream.
Right. And a rib. So that was interesting. So, that's pretty much what I do.
Oh, love it. Love it. Everybody make sure you guys, follow Funny Girl Productions. Miss Nikki Knowles, thank you so much for your knowledge and being here. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was really, really fun.
Good. Well, we hope you'll come back.
I will. Just
Okay.
call me.
Okay. We know where to find you. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Make sure you give a thumbs up, like us on Instagram, YouTube, podcast, on Podbean, Apple. You know where to find us, y'all. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.